everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of Letting Go. I'm John Moore, and on today's episode, we talked with Wes Meador. Wes is relatively new to the stuttering community, but he's not new to stuttering. Wes is doing something that I think is remarkable. He is competing on this year's American Ninja Warrior TV show. Yeah, you've seen that show where these athletes do crazy stuff going through all these obstacles. Yeah, that show.
Hi, my name is Wes Meador, and I'm competing on this season of American Ninja Warrior, and I am a person who stutters.
So on today's episode of Letting Go, we're going to talk about his experiences on the show, his experiences as a person who stutters, and dig into other stuff. Hope you enjoy. Well, we are here with Wes Meador. Wes, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, John. How are you?
Awesome, man. So, American Ninja Warrior, walk us through how you even wanted to get on the show and just that whole process, because there's bound to be a story about how you made it a goal to get on the show.
So my journey to get on the show started a few years back. I really first wanted to get on to prove more or less than anything that I could. I was out of shape. I was getting the dad bod going, not happy with the way I looked. My wife and I made a commitment together to start getting fit together. And I said, you know what, if I do this, let's aim for the top. I said, I always watched Ninja Warrior and I always thought like, hey, I could do this stuff on the show. And I finally got to a point where I watched and I kind of looked down. I was like, I don't know if I can do that anymore. So I looked up some of the exercise regimens they did. I said, I'd like to be at least fit enough to apply for the show. And after about a year, I felt like I was there. And I got there pretty good. And I applied the first year, didn't get there. It got some tips and really, somebody asked me like, why do you want to be on the show? And I said, just to prove that I could. And he said, well, yeah, tell me about you. I don't know anything about you. So the next year I revamped my story a little bit. I explored me a little more, looked what made me, and I realized that my coping mechanisms, everything I did with my stutter over the course of my life, and my stutter in general kind of helped define me. It is a part of me. So I included that as a part of my story. And as it went along and I started involving myself more, I found out about the NSA, the National Stuttering Association. It really opened my eyes to everything that was out there and ways to help people. And I chose to, once again, make my stutter a part of my story and try and use my journey to Ninja Warrior as a platform and an advocacy platform for other people who might stutter and try and be a voice where other people might be afraid to use their own.
So let's go there then. What do you hope by being on the show does for people who stutter, especially, let's say, kids who stutter? I'm hoping it opens people's eyes to stuttering that they might not realize that. I'm hoping that it puts a spotlight on a problem that a lot of people might not realize is there, and then the loneliness that can sometimes be there with stuttering, and just how frequent stutterers are in the world. And it's 1 in 100. So if 100 people are watching, if one of them is statistically a stutterer themselves, or if you go delve deeper than that, then the odds are they know somebody or family members with someone who stutters. So I'm hoping, putting myself out there on a national platform, I'm able to shine a light on a problem a lot of people might not know is there, and help improve the acceptance of people who try and say what they want to say, but might not always say it the way they'd like to. So let's talk a little bit about stuttering and you growing up. I think we talked previously, and you said that basically stuttering didn't really come to be a part of your life until like high school, right? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't. My stutter didn't become more prevalent until high school. Really started showing up in 9th and 10th grade, and going back and watch old movies and seeing where it started coming to light. And high school is a time where kids are already kind of maybe not the most accepting. So trying to have a voice, I was a little quieter than maybe I felt like my personality wanted to be in high school, and I didn't start to blossom until I left the high school area until I got out of grade school and graduated, and got out in the real world a little bit and started experiencing more people. I went to a small school, um, and then once I graduated, got out in the real world and saw people can be a little more accepting and learn to grow from there.
So Wes, talk a little bit about how you navigate life, that is professional and personal life, knowing that sometimes you struggle to say exactly what you want to say.
So I for years understood that my stutter is actually a part of me, and I try to, I try and manage it as best I can in both in every aspect of my life. All in the professional world, I guess you would say I'm very much covert stutter, and that I use my different ways to manage it and try as best I can to present and speak as cleanly as possible. In my personal life, I take a much more lax approach and just kind of be me. Not saying that that's necessarily correct for everybody, but it's what helps me be me. In my professional career, I've also gone out and I always try and push myself beyond what I normally would maybe and try and make sure and train myself that that my stutter is not going to hinder me from doing what I want to do. In my previous role at my last company, I volunteered to be a trainer and train the trainer. So I was actually up there in front of people, training them on different modules and explaining and teaching. And I think that helped me grow a good bit as not only an individual, but a person who stutters as well, and put myself out there and not letting my stutter hinder me personally or professionally. And it's helped me throughout my professional career. And then, at home, I don't use those steps as much as possible. I don't, and while I'm at home, I don't use those steps that I would normally while at work. And very, very much, I guess, more free speaking would be the term.
Yeah. Well, I do think, to me, that's very cool that you would put yourself in a position to speak, to lead teaching, to lead training, because that's sometimes people who stutter, we shy from putting ourselves in those positions. So talk a little about what you are currently doing. What is your day-to-day job? What do you do?
So my current role, I am a facility manager for an insurance company. I manage a 140,000 square foot office building, top to bottom, and the different departments within. I make sure that people are able to show up and do their job. And with that, there are some safety aspects and some training involved in that. But I'm very communicative with different people throughout the building on a daily basis. So I get an opportunity to interact with and exchange thoughts and speak with people, every day. So it's really rewarding for me to be able to make sure the place they show up to do their work is operational and running.
Great. So talk about your family.
I'm truly blessed with, my opinion here, but the best wife that there was on the planet. So my wife, Danielle, she's my other half, my better half. Absolutely. She's incredibly supportive. She's been a rock for me in life, and she's helped me. We started dating in college, perhaps when my stutter was the most prevalent, and she helped me work through a lot of stuff personally and help me learn how to manage my stutter and my life in general. She's absolutely been the key to my success, and we share two just awesome kids. My daughter Annabelle, she just turned 8, and my son David, he's 4. They're absolutely the light of my life. They're the reason I'm here, and I want to be supportive, and I want to be I want to lead by example and show them that not to be afraid to do anything. That's another reason why I kind of applied for the show, put myself out there, and stepped up and showed them that you put your mind to it, you work hard enough, anything is possible if you're willing to work for it. So my 2 kids are, and my wife, they're absolutely the best. They're everything. They're the reason I wake up every day and come and do what I do.
Fantastic. Let's go back to stuttering here. And I know people who stutter sometimes who have found a rhythm in life. They have something that I would term as being a letting go moment. That is the time when you decided that how you speak was not going to prevent you from accomplishing everything you know that you could accomplish. So did you have a letting go moment? And if so, talk about that.
Um, so when I was in college, I used to drive from my house to college, from college to work, and back to my house. And I used to listen to a lot of sports talk radio and talk radio. I growing up in South Louisiana, I had quite the Southern drawl. Um, and I used to just drive, and I also worked retail at the time. So I just drive and listen to these people on the radio speak so fluidly and just so perfectly. And I just thought, why not me? Why can't I do that? So I started taking the time in the car when nobody was around, by myself, and just like you said, letting go, just trying different things that I could audibly try to manage my stutter and just what worked for me, and just not care anymore, and really emulating those radio voices and trying to sound like them on the radio. And you might notice I don't sound like I'm from South Louisiana at all. I kind of almost to a degree taught myself how to drop my Southern drawl, and just speak as much as I could like them, and go out there and put myself out there. And then when I got to my job in retail, you go up with my best salesman voice and be like those people and put myself out there, because I was never going to see those people again. You know, it was a great, perfect testing ground to help me grow and develop to the management process I did develop, and to the person that I am now.
Yeah. Hey, let's go back. That's a fun topic, but a more fun topic is American Ninja Warrior. I know that you talked a little bit about the process to apply, but talk about what the process was with all the communication that you had to have with the producers as they are selecting the right contestants on the show, and just tell us a little bit about that experience.
So yeah, once you have your submission in, they're very, and they reach out to you. In fact, I applied for 3 years before I finally got accepted. They're very hands-on, and they're very, very friendly, and kind of make you think a little more introspectively into what makes you you, and help you tell. They actually help you tell your own story. And same thing for me. They reached out. They asked a lot about me. They asked some things that I hadn't thought about, and almost like a mini therapist session. I kind of brought things to light that I had either forgotten about or just realized about myself. And they really get deep into their contestants. They don't just select anybody, and they don't start working with them, just anyone. I believe there's well over 100,000 submissions, and this year I think there was only 300 or 400 people who got a chance to compete on the show. So they invested quite a bit of time, effort, money in the idea and the cause of stuttering, and helping get stuttering out in the open, and as a platform for us to do that. They like I said, they asked some great questions, and really it was a kind of a fun process start to finish, and then asked a lot about me, my family, my background, my training, everything else. So it was a good process start to finish.
Nice. So I do know, because I've seen the show quite a bit, and I do know that they had to make some changes because of COVID. So they didn't really have attendance. They didn't really have people there on site. So you had to have some virtual fans, including your family. How cool or how odd was that to be there alone, but to see some screens of your fans, and especially your family, as you were about to embark on the course?
So it was not the full experience of, I guess, the traditional Ninja Warrior experience, and then you were correct, my family could not come. I wish so much that they could have been there, especially my daughter. She actually comes and trains with me at the Ninja Gym every Saturday morning. She's the best training partner I could ever ask for. But it was an absolute, adrenaline shot, right in the arm when I was up on stage, and then everybody started coming up. I believe, John, actually, you were the first one to appear on the screen as well. You were on my sideline, so you were there virtually. So seeing friendly faces, and then I think my family actually came in last, and And when they came on, it was a really, like I said, an adrenaline shot right in the arm. It was exactly what I needed to see their smiling faces, see them cheering for me, my wife, my kids especially, it was a really great moment to get to virtually share such a big stage with them. It was truly great, a great opportunity and experience to have them there, even if virtually. So, I'm hoping that next time they're right there with me on the sidelines. We're past all this COVID, and they're able to be there in person and cheer from the sidelines.
Nice. Okay, spoilers are coming. So I'm just letting people know that spoilers are coming. This will probably air following Wes doing his run, but I'm just letting folks know, spoiler alert. Wes, one thing that I thought, because I of course saw you run as a virtual fan, what was so cool was you had a pretty killer t-shirt. So you're going to talk about the t-shirt, and then you're going to talk about that twirl you did for the intro, and you pointed to the back of your shirt, which I thought was really, really fun.
Yes. So you have an opportunity when you first step on the stage to do what you got to do. Some people do backflips, some people dance. I'm not a dancer. And I thought, what an opportunity to highlight the back of the shirt, where as well as I did, said, we stuttered. What a great opportunity for hopefully on a national stage to say exactly what we wanted to say. And then the front of the shirt, of course, says the catchphrase, "Don't tell me to slow down." It's a great shirt. In fact, one of the stagehands asked me before I went on, he said, "Where did you get your shirt?" Because I had spoke about stuttering and hopefully being a representative of everybody and get the chance to do that. And I said, "Hey, it's actually on the National Stuttering Association website." He said, "That's great. I'm going to go order one for me and my son now. My son's a stutterer. This is awesome." So it was. I don't think I shared that story with you prior to this, but it was making a difference right there on stage. So hopefully we get some airtime. We're really able to make a difference. But the shirt, had the "Don't tell me to slow down," which of course had multiple meanings to not tell me to slow down when speaking, and I tried to incorporate that in my run, and I went full bore right from jump, proudly displaying that shirt and running and keeping the name, and I did not slow down until the end. So until my time was done.
That's great. All right, so we're going to close out with some 10 quick hit questions for you. Okay, are you ready?
Great.
These are quick hits.
Yep.
So first thing that comes to mind, say it. What excites you?
My family.
What disappoints you?
Failure. Failing is something that I've tried hard for, but at the same time, that's what motivates me as well.
What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is that I'll let myself quit one day. I've never had before. The only person who can make you quit is you. So,
Great. What sound or noise do you love?
My kids laughing. Absolutely.
What's your favorite college sports team and why?
Oh, the LSU Fighting Tigers baseball, no question.
What college athlete or pro athlete do you admire most and why?
It's for the longest time, and it's still probably hands down Drew Brees. Drew Brees has done a lot professionally and personally for our city and region, and he's really an incredible person. He's done an awful lot off the field as much as he has on the field.
Absolutely. What do you love most about your wife?
I know everything is the cliche answer, but everything.
Okay, now let's go to your kids. What do you love most about your kids besides everything?
Their energy and their unending drive to try and to try anything. I'm hoping that maybe I rubbed off on a little bit for that, but they don't quit. They keep going. They get back up and go again.
Because no one's going to tell them to slow down, right?
Right. Absolutely not.
What do you love about yourself?
That's a really introspective question. I wasn't prepared for, but I'll have to say my drive. I've always been a very self-driven person, and I try to be as humble as possible but I'd have to say my drive pushes me beyond what I ever thought possible.
Okay. Final question here. When you get to heaven, what would you like to hear God say to you?
That's man, with the tough questions. Hopefully that I've done well, and I was a good Christian, and then followed immediately with, here's all your loved ones that have gone beyond you or before you.
Absolutely. So Wes, thank you for representing people who stutter. Thank you for taking it upon yourself to reach out to the National Stuttering Association and say, hey, this might be an opportunity to create greater awareness for kids, adults, and just let more people know about stuttering and about the education piece of that. And me being a person who stutters, thanks you very much. Was seeing you wearing the t-shirt and really representing all of us made me feel really special. So for every person who stutters that I know and that I don't know, we thank you, Wes.
Hey, thanks very much for the opportunity. I look forward to continuing to work with y'all and doing good work. It was really a blessing that y'all were willing to work with me. So thank y'all very much again for the opportunity.
Absolutely, Wes. End scene.
Okay.